Welcome back, Captains. This is Admiral Yadis Tafark with Starfleet Special Command. I'm here today with video 6 in our ship build series, my multi-mission reconnaissance explorer, Vesta, the USS Auditore. As always, I'll be breaking this video down into 8 parts, so let's get started. Hey you guys, first off I just want to apologize for taking a little bit of time off from doing some of these videos. The further I get into STO, the more expensive things are getting, so it took me a while to save up to get this ship and to get the gear for this ship. So been working on this build and a couple others, so we'll go ahead and start off with the Vesta build. First thing we're going to do is start off with the weapons. This is some of the things that actually took a little bit of time to get. For my beams on this Vesta build, I'm actually running the Romulan plasma beam arrays, accuracy ×2. I'm running 2 of those 4, and I'm also running the Romulan hyperplasma torpedo Mark 12. And for the rear, I'm running again the Romulan plasma beam arrays Mark 12, accuracy ×2, and the Borg kinetic cutting beam on the rear. For my shields and engines and deflector, I'm running the adapted Mako positron deflector, adapted Mako combat impulse engines, and the adapted Mako covariant shield array. For devices, subspace field modulator, weapons batteries, and auxiliary batteries. Engineering consoles running the universal assimilated module and a 0-point energy conduit. For my science consoles, I am running the plasmonic leech, the Nucara particle converter, and I'm running 2 Mark 12 threat plasma emitter arrays. These actually help out a lot with this build. As some of y'all should know, the Vesta is a very squishy ship. It's going to pretty much need these. I've tried this configuration a couple different ways, and I'll show you as we go through this, it's definitely needed. And for our tactical consoles, I'm running all plasma fusers, Mark 11 purples. And for my hangar, I'm running the elite Scorpion fighters. So as you can see so far, it's pretty much a Romulan plasma build. I have been kind of holding off doing some Romulan plasma. I know it was pretty big back about 6-8 months ago, and prices kind of dropped off on them, so I figured I'd go ahead now and do one. So let's go ahead and get to my skills. For my skills, it's the same thing as it always has been. I haven't changed a thing on this. I'll annotate the hilbertguide.com. This is his skill build. Alright, I'm going on to my captain's traits. As you can see, I don't have hardly any space traits left. Everything I have is pretty much all space. I don't play much ground. I'm mainly concentrate on space, so here's the active traits. Alright, we'll go ahead and go to the station so I can show you my bridge officers. Alright, for my Lieutenant Commander Universal Station, I'm running a Emergency Power to Weapons 1, Emergency Power to Shields 2, and an Auxiliary Power to the Structural Integrity Field 2. Ensign Universal, I'm running a Tactical Team 1, and Lieutenant Tactical, Beam Array Fire at Will 1, and Attack Pattern Beta. Lieutenant Engineering, Emergency Power to Weapons 1, Emergency Power to Shields 2. And for my Commander Science, I'm running a Polarized Hull, Transfer Shield Strength 2, Hazard Emitters 3, and a Gravity Well 3. Alright guys, just to give you a little bit of insight what I've got going on right here. As y'all know, on a lot of my cruisers and one of my other science vessels, I went all beams with that, and you know I like Attack Pattern Beta and the Beam Fire at Will. When you spam those two together, it's great. I love it. That's about all I'll run on my cruisers. You get into the PvP stuff, the Attack Pattern Beta is cleared by tactical team, so it doesn't help out a lot there. But for PvE, it's definitely worth it. It actually helps out the rest of your team a lot. For the engineering stuff, if you run 2 Emergency Power to Weapons 1 and 2 Emergency Power to Shields 2, when you keybind that to Tray 7, using the keybinds from the Hilbert guide. It actually pretty much gives you a full emergency power to weapons that's up all the time, and an emergency power to shields that's up all the time. It just sits there and cycles them back and forth, and there's maybe like a half a second or a second that when the emergency power to weapons falls off, it'll take about a half a second to a second for it to redo again. So pretty much the whole time you're playing, as long as you're tapping the space bar, it's keeping those two things up. And then as the auxiliary structural integrity field comes up and it's available, it'll trip that. I believe this right here is a big part. It took me a while to figure out exactly how I wanted to get this buff layout out, but it needs the auxiliary power to the structural integrity field. This ship, with its low hull, it takes plasma will eat this ship alive. Playing the Borg stuff, if you do not have this right here, I could not use hazard emitters enough to keep it going, and that right there pretty much in conjunction with hazard emitters keeps this ship going pretty good. Also with the shields, running your emergency power to shields, that also helps keep your shields up, and then your transfer shield strength. So what I've been doing is, once I notice my shields and my health getting down, what I'll do is I'll pop a auxiliary battery and then tap these two and set them off. But some things I've noticed with this, using the auxiliary batteries and the hazard emitters and the transfer shield strength, if you look down here at my power levels when I'm running right here on my auxiliary, once the plasmonic leech is activated and a bunch of the other buffs and everything is activated, this auxiliary power pretty much comes right up to 100. So I've kind of slacked off on using the auxiliary batteries because it doesn't add that much more. But if you're down pretty much dead on health, if you hit hazard emitters and your transfer shield strength, it'll go ahead and pretty much bring you right back up to full health, and which like I said, you need it because this ship with its, like I said, with its hull strength, it's kind of squishy. If we go down here to the science stuff, as you can see, pretty much what I was doing with this build, it was going all plasma, with the plasma beam arrays firing at will, and running the hyper torps, and running the my elite Scorpion fighters. Pretty much you see plasma flying around everywhere. This works out really well with Gravity Well 3. If you pop Gravity Well 3 in a nice little fleet of NPCs, it pretty much sucks everything in, and then your elite Scorpion fighters and your hyper torpedoes and the beam fire at will pretty much just annihilates it all. On like Infected the Conduit, I can get the big swarm of spheres that come into you. I can hit the Gravity Well 3, dump it on them, and then come right over there and beam fire at will and start popping torpedoes in, and it pretty much just annihilates them, which, like I said, it's a lot of fun. I really like the Gravity Well 3 with this. On my science ships, this is pretty much the setup I'm going to run from now on because I like it so much. And then of course their polarized hull, that's going to help you out when they hit you with a tractor beam or something like that. Alright guys, we'll go on to my reputation real quick. The reputation, start down here at Omega. I'm tier 5 Omega. I've been tier 5 for a pretty good while now. Slowly been working on the Nucera Strike Force. I'm almost about halfway through tier 4. New Reconnaissance, of course, I'm tier 5. I've been tier 5 for a pretty good while now. And of course the new Dyson Joint Command. I'm just starting this. I'm almost done with the first one. My thoughts on the new season 8. I haven't played it a lot yet. Just now really getting into it. First impressions, I did not like it at all. I would have personally much rather seen some newer Borg stuff, revamping the Borg stuff. But hey, it is something new. Maybe when I get into it, I'll start liking it a little more. I have not played any of the ground yet. We'll just have to see how that turns out. We'll go from there on that. Alright, we'll get out of here real quick. Go run up here to my duty officers. Alright, from active space, I'm running the 3 projectile duty officers. They're purple. These duty officers are going to reduce your firing 20% chance to reduce the recharge time by 5 seconds. Like I said, I'm running 3 of those. And then down here, I am running 2 damage control engineers. This also goes along with your emergency powered shields and emergency powered weapons, keeping those up longer. So when they do come down, they get back up quicker. Like I said, that's pretty much what allows me to have that constant rotation of those 2 abilities. Alright, I'm going to head to the keybinds and setup. How I've been doing things right here. I've got your emergency powered shields 2 and your emergency powered weapons, attack pattern beta, beam fire at will, and the auxiliary powered destruction integrity field. I went ahead and threw the launch elite scorpion fighters on here, and then like I said, I also put my subspace field modulator and the fleet support 2. This is pretty much how I've been running my setup right here. With the elite scorpion fighters, for the most part, when I'm out running around, I always leave it on the attack. That pretty much, they just go out and do their thing. Every once in a while, if I know that somebody's on the team and they need some help, just keeping stuff off of them, I'll do the escort. Very rarely do I do the intercept. Some of the big torpedoes that come in, I can usually catch those with the beam fire at will, so I'm not really worried about any of those. But like I said, guys, I'll annotate this with the Hilbert guide. This keybind setup, pretty much, like I said, I'll just start pushing the spacebar now. That's the way to go right there. And as you watch, everything just slowly start coming down, and you can just keep on tapping it, and it'll start activating stuff again. That's the way to go. I have done some more testing without using the keybinds and trying to manually come through here and tap the abilities as they come available, and it's not as efficient. It's nowhere near efficient, actually. I can do it the other way, but this way I think is more funner for me, because I can concentrate on flying the ship and making stuff blow up. You don't have to worry about oh, did I miss that ability. The only abilities I gotta worry about activating is like my attack pattern alpha, my attack team if I need it, plasma hyperflux, and things like that. But real quick, before I finish this video up, I'm gonna go up here and talk about some of the other stuff. And I'm gonna hit this warp core real quick, because I didn't tell you about that earlier. This is the Elite Fleet Reinforced Warp Core, Mark 12. It's got the SEP, weapons to shields, S capacitor, and the amp. The amp is really nice. Pretty much what the amp is going to do, if you scroll down there to the bottom, it's going to say plus 3.7 all damage for each subsystem with 75 or more power. With plasmonic leech and what I have on my weapons, shields, engines, and auxiliary power levels, they all pretty much stay over 75, so that actually helps out quite a bit. And the S cap, of course, because I need the shields for this, and with the auxiliary power, that helps me use my auxiliary abilities, throwing out the gravity well, throwing out the hazard emitters, and the transfer shield strength. Let's go back in here and talk about this new particle converter. The main reason I went with this, it adds again more shields, and it also adds a 17.3 Starship particle generator, and that goes toward the gravity wells, and it also adds 10% accuracy for the beam weapons, so that actually helps out quite a bit. If you look at some of the other stuff, if you go with the plasmonic leech, that's basically helping out with the power levels. The other neat thing about the emitter array is that it's got that plus 9.6% to the plasma damage. So everything's plasma, I get that 9.6%, and then it also adds 31.9 Starship shield emitters, which improves the shield shielding, and then it also adds another plasma proc, 2.5% chance for 178.8 plasma damage per second. Alright guys, I'm pretty much done with this video. There it is, the USS Auditory. Just real quick things I've noticed about this ship. Like I said, to fit your playstyle, when I first got this ship and had to go in there and start trying to figure out how I wanted to play it, I basically built it as an escort first. I used the auxiliary cannons that it came with. I could get, in testing, I could just about get my Defiant DPS out of it, but it was a lot squishier. So I actually went in there and I went this way with it. I can actually get close to 13k DPS out of this ship as it sits. It averages in high 11s. Occasionally, depending on how the group is and how the STF is, you can, for the most part, stay right at 12, 12.2, 12.3, something like that. And then, like I said, occasionally, depending on what it is, you can almost get 13. I haven't broke 13 with it. I think 12.8 was the highest I ever got out of this. But on average, you average about 12, 11, 12k. But so far, I really like the ship. It's not bad at all. But again, guys, I appreciate all the positive feedback that I'm getting from the fleet. Sorry I haven't been able to get some of the newer videos up. Next video after this, I'm going to be doing the Fleet Advanced Escort. I know our fleet just picked those up, so I'm going to get that video done. And I'll talk to y'all later on. Y'all just fart.